Ladies and gentlemen, I guess we should start. I'm absolutely impressed how packed it is. I wasn't expecting that much of interest for whether it's me or it's, I guess, more or less Pepper. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for giving me and, of course, Pepper, the audience, to tell you something about what we consider to be service made by robots. I will walk you through a presentation which consists of a lot of different types of robots which we are exploring, which are sometimes seen in public places, which help us to make our daily lives much more easier. And one of the core robots is, of course, Pepper. But everything which was happening before Pepper started with one special picture. One picture that came in my mind when I was searching through the internet. It was back in the days when I was responsible for video conferencing, and I was considering about the future video conferencing. So I searched the internet and I lost myself on a Google page, I guess 18 or somewhere else, where it's normally no one ever would go for. And I discovered this following picture. Who have seen this robot before? Not downstairs, I mean before. Okay, just a few. So this is the telepresence robot. This little cutie thing is, let me say, not really a robot, but it's, well, considered to be a robot. It's an iPad on wheels. It's a video conference, a Skype on wheels, which allows you to give you another physical presence in a remote place. Whether you're here in Romania and walking around through an office in Singapore or in Los Angeles, it doesn't matter. Wherever you have internet access, you can use that kind of robot. And due to that fact, we created a company which is called Fernarbeiter. And nowadays we're also having a little other beautiful robot. It's called ETA2U. You will see it maybe within the next month. It's a combination of a humanoid and a telepresence robot. Through that robot, I luckily met my co-founder Dimitrios, which is more the technical brain of our company, to create with him the company Humanizing Technologies, which is dedicated to the robot Pepper. So on the left side you can see Dimitrios, he's my co-founder, and we are now at 3 different locations, located in Germany and as well as in Austria. In Vienna is one of our most impressive offices where all our R&D is happening. So everything started like that. But of course our public life when it comes to robot looks a bit different, especially if every one of us scrolling through the internet. Some of you probably have seen this little cutie. Raise your hands who have seen Sophia before. I was expecting that. Of course she's pretty, let me say, famous. Especially these days, she's, I guess, traveling heavily all over fairs and exhibitions. She's seen pretty much, and she's considered to be the next artificial intelligence. But I really can, let me say, ground you. Really, artificial intelligence, it's more or less a chatbot, okay? But the thing is, what makes me a bit concerning is that just because it's of a humanoid, let me say, appearance, states like Saudi Arabia grants citizenship for first time to a robot, which is in our modern life, maybe it will come more often, but it of course raises a lot of questions regarding what are the rights for this robot and all of that stuff. But usually when we are going out to the public and to society and we ask, what do you think about robots really? Most of them are having those pictures in their minds, you know? Of course, science fiction. We all raised up with science fiction videos, Terminator, some of you consider to know this, iRobot. And the funny fact is, the real robots we all know are those little guys. So this is what the reality actually is in our daily home. So a vacuum cleaner or a mover, which keeps care about your green. The good thing is that those little robots are more and more coming to our daily lives, and it's getting normal and normal to have these little helpers in our society. The thing is, those have specific tasks. One is the vacuum cleaner. It has one specific task to clean the floor. The other one has to keep care about the green. And this is easy for a robot. You know, getting too many tasks to a robot is getting too more complex. And you will see it later when it comes to Pepper, that of course of its humanoid shape, a lot of people think he's a wonder machine. But to be a wonder machine, there's a lot of technical research and fundamental research necessary to come to that specific point. But what we all know nowadays is the rise of the smart assistants. The smart assistants are, you know, the typical speech-to-text or the typical voice assistants. Every one of you knows Siri, of course. It started back in the days with navigation systems when you control your car, that you said your final destination where you want to go through. Siri is getting more, of course it's omnipresent, and all the Alexa and Google Home is getting more and more into our homes. What does this mean? This means it's changing our behavior to interact with machines. So we are more voice controlled in the future. We will usually take our voice to control something because it's very convenient. On the other hand, it's a very great opportunity for companies like those collecting a lot of data. Because the difference is, while back in the days when those guys were not existing, we all typed in physically the stuff. Now we just easily speak to it, and this is getting, of course, an amount of data and, of course, different kinds of data. But what does this have to do with robots? Well, since speech-to-text and speech-to-text and speech recognition in general is as a part of AI, is getting more and more improved, it also takes care when it comes to little smart robots. So those are social companions. Social companions are little robots, which are also getting more and more popular in different places. This is Jibo, for instance. Have you seen Jibo before? Some of you. This is from this is Zenmo. This is from Bluefrog. It's a French company. And also Sunbot. It's a Chinese robot. Anki and Huey. Little smart assistants, which are, let me say, even getting out of our child's rooms to our homes to assist our daily lives. He's getting recipes and has, the difference is it just gets a body, and through this animation it gets kind of a characteristic. Actually it's like an Alexa, but it's, of course, due to its characteristic, it's considered to be like a robot. But they really don't solve problems, they are more for our fun and entertainment. When it really comes to a point when a robot solves problems, it's more like that. Who has seen this robot before? No one? This is really a good service robot. This is the robot Relay from Savioki. Savioki is a US company. They have the idea to offer the robot as a service. This is a leasing model. You can have this robot. It's mostly seen in hotels as well as in production plants to bring things to specific doors and rooms. So you can easily order some things from the bar or other things, and the robot will automatically bring it to you. It's perfectly designed and made, and the hardware is just full of sensors to navigate through floors. It also can use elevators. There are specific task boards for elevators that the robot can communicate with the elevator to leave on the right floor to go to the right room. This is impressive. And of course, this is really a return on invest use case, because this has increased the customer satisfaction and the customer satisfaction, and of course the customer excellence. A lot of hotels are still using it. Who has seen this one? No one? This is Starship. This is from Estonia. It's founded by the co-founders of Skype. And it's an outdoor delivery robot. And this robot is also to be explored in Germany. Media Saturn, maybe you know this, electronic markets, they also deliver at specific seasonal events like on Christmas, the presents to the home. And also Domino's, a pizza service, is using it, as well as Hermes. This robot is of course not really that autonomous because in our complex environment, out of the streets, walking through paths and footpaths, someone has to be controlling the robot by remote in specific situations. But it's getting more and more better. How many data they collect? It's like autonomous driving. At a specific point, they know nearly every situation how to handle it. And these little robots are helpers, really good helpers in our daily lives to bring parcels like you can see it here. Next robot. Who have seen this guy? Also no one? This is a robot, it's called Care Robot. Care Robot, as the name said, he's taking care. Well, back in the days it was considered to be used for elderly care. It's the 4th generation. It's a development since 20 years right now. It's from Fraunhofer Institute in Germany. But it's more it's giving more orientation now in retail places or shopping centers. So this robot, or in hotels, if you ask him for where to go to the coffee machines, or where the latest coffee machines basically, the robot will bring you to its special point of sale. The good thing is, this thing is also pretty autonomous. It just locates just once the location, and then by the simultaneous localization service, it updates itself constantly, and it will get better and better and better, and of course it avoid obstacles and it avoids collisions with humans, and it can pretty good bring the customers to the specific points. And when it comes to I don't know, Baumärkte, so like Obi, Hombach, so the Baumärkte, this robot is also very good. The bigger the place, the more sense does it make. If you're once in Germany, you can see it in Berlin or in Hamburg or in Ingolstadt. And probably they are now going to a serious manufacturing. This is, let me say, more or less a prototyping with around 50 robots, and they want to go to a serious prototyping. Here are a few other robots that you can see. This is Boschbot from Fellobots, also used in stores where you bring your own stuff with you and you can scan it in front of the robot. So the robot can give you an advice what it is, what you have, like I don't know the English word, so it's like Schraube. So it's like something what you might not be able to explain to a person. You just hold it in front of the robot, and probably the robot has it in its database, and it will recognize what it is and bring you to the specific point. It's a very good use case, and a very good valuable use case, and it's explored in the US. This is a French product. It's in cinemas. It's Hazy, from Hazy Robotics. Here it's more or less, let me say, a kiosk. It's a kiosk where you can type in what is your emotion, your feeling, and what film do you want to choose. And it's already printing out the ticket, and you can pay on the robot. And the robot is driving around in the cinema and ask the people if they want to have their tickets. So this brings a big value because, of course, the casas, they are not that blocked like before because they are alternatives. Inventorization, so making inventorizations is done by this little robot, especially by night. It's walking through the fashion store and see which objects are still there and collected, and it creates a live database. And this little guy is Pulu. Pulu, it's obvious what it has to do. It's a service robot in restaurants. So bringing us the ordered meals to the desk, and hopefully without an accident, because it's, of course, especially restaurants are super dynamic environments where people suddenly get off the chair, and for a robot it's pretty hard to calculate everything within that second. So they have to be more improved. But it's obvious what it should bring, and more service robots for this area coming up. So especially in the restaurant field, where this typical waitress job is to be automated. Those are service robots, and they will come more and more in our daily lives. But humanoid robots like the Pepper robot, they are also existing, and they're getting also a rise more and more. And there are coming a few more robots right now, and I will show it to you right away pretty straight, that you can see what robots I mean. I guess some of you might saw some of them, but literally not all. Here. Obviously, we all know Pepper. He's here. Who knows this one? Have you seen this before? Pepper, you know it? Is it your friend? But some of you might know Asimo, right? Asimo was very popular because Asimo is over 15 or 20 years old now, from Honda, from a company from Japan. It's very impressive, this little guy, because it's bipedal. You see, there are just two bipedal robots. This is Asimo and Atlas, while from Halodi, as well as from Cloudminds and Pepper, they do not really have legs. So they are half humanoid. And this is, let me say, the Champions League, getting robots to walk. This is really Champions League. And Asimo was one, perfect robot, but just 20 of them are existing in the market. While Pepper are they have over, let me say, 12,000 in the world outside. Cloudminds is a very new partner that is coming to the market, and Halodi as well from Norway and others. I will show you a little video which shows you the different abilities of the robots itself, because it's impressive to see how much they are improved in terms of the hardware and what physical things they are capable to do for. So this is Pepper 1.20 feet or 1.20 centimeters tall. It's typically used, as you can see, as an information robot. It has not really physical tasks to do because it's not able to do it due to its hardware. It was not designed for that. XR1 is a bit different. And now it looks a bit scary, but this is the technique behind it. Those are specific accumulation motors, and this is really a great challenge with the needle. This needs a lot of precision, and you can see the dynamic and how precise this robot can move. This is really advanced. So this is a robot which can be commercialized. This is very interesting. This is Halodi from Norway. It should be on the market within the next 1.5 years. Of course, this scenario, which you can see here, packing things from A to B, is a use case in nearly every warehouse. Of course, small things, but there are so many repetitive tasks. And this one is probably one of the most professional ones. I guess some of you have seen this before, right?
What about the battery?
The battery life? Wow, that's a good question. That's a very good question. I cannot say to you. Actually, I cannot say to you the battery life. No, I haven't asked myself about that question. I was so impressed that the tasks?
Because great tasks.
Of course. No, this is also a robot for pick and place purposes, to pick packages from A to B. What is so impressive is, the balance. Technique. If you see it as a technique, it's impressive to create something like that. This is genius. The thing is, So the last three robots we saw, the XR1, the Haloni, and this one, they are maybe perfectly designed robots, maybe perfect hardware robots, but would you ever meet some of them now here, downstairs? I probably guess, maybe with a lot of respect and distance, we would see for them, but nobody would come that close like to a robot like Pepper. And this is key for Pepper, and especially nowadays. Because all of those robots, the last three ones, they are not that available commercially like a robot like Pepper. Pepper is available. And Pepper is exactly designed for the human-machine interaction. This means it's accepted by childs as well as adults, because due to its childish face, the design is, of course, specifically made to be positive and friendly and don't scare anyone. It has its mutual body language, it's a proactive approach. So as you sometimes see it, she's automatically creating itself. She has a lot of emotional empathy, and she's designed for our environment. But the very most significant thing is there's no ambiguity. No ambiguity means the following. What I want to say is, who has from you ever heard about the uncanny valley? Ah, okay, cool. So the uncanny valley describes the following. A robot, like we saw it in Atlas, very hardware, you can obviously see this is a robot, because it's obvious. But a humanoid robot like Pepper, okay, it's also obvious, it's white, it's from plastic. But the uncanny valley describes the valley when it becomes a robot to a zombie, like these examples. This is, let me say, a psychology thing. It's scary. Hiroshi Ishiguro from Osaka University in Japan is one of the masters in this area, because he tries to build his own cyborg or robot. Scary is that at a specific point we cannot really decide who is who. It's so human-like. It has skin, eyebrows, hairs, real eyes. And this is uncanny. This makes us scary, because the thing is, when we cannot decide if it's a human and a robot, we are not anymore able to control this machine. Pepper is obvious. If I don't feel comfortable with it, I just push the power button and it's off. So I'm the master of this product. But we are not mastering humans. We cannot turn off a human when we do not really know if it's a human or a robot. And this is the uncanny valley. And this is getting more and more upcoming, but it's, let me say, a bit strange for all of us. But not with Pepper. Pepper, for instance, was with 150 robots at Renault in France in place, and was therefore, of course, interacting with kids. Because the biggest problem what Renault had was getting people to their car houses and to make, kind of a frequency. And with the Pepper robot, there you have a robot which attracts people, which entertains people, especially kids, because Renault is even a car company for family cars, and you need to go with the kids to the car dealer. And the Pepper was perfectly done for this. BMW, same situation. In London, in UK, there's a shopping center where they are using Pepper for raising up their in-store traffic. Pepper is bringing you frequency to retail stores or even to booth at the exhibition at the fair. And here, in this case, 20 qualified leads per week who are interested in different car and brand interactions, especially social media interactions. Because with that robot, and you all know it, you make pictures, selfies, and you tag it, and you will spread it over the social networks, your brand will be transported to any kind of corner in the internet. Same goes for Carrefour. It is also a reference. This is a bit different use case, because here, especially, Pepper was promoting specific wines. It was pretty cool to combine your daily or your weekly offers, specifically some specific specialties, foods, and recommend specific wines to them. This is Pepper task. And of course, entertain kids and making them happy, hugging, tickling and playing games, and giving orientation. Orientation was done in Merkur. This is a supermarket in Austria, which uses Pepper for, of course, recommendation of the latest promos and giving you recipes and suggestions what you should cook, but more giving you orientation. The most questions are, where can I find what? It's often, especially in retail, that customers ask, where can I find the milk, where can I find the latest offers, and can you bring me to specific points? Pepper, unfortunately, is not designed for autonomous navigation. Please keep that in mind. Of course, you can drive around, but not fully autonomous like we saw other robots before, because there's just hardware missing, sensory, glider, which is necessary for navigation. She's made for information, for attract people, for inform them, having conversations. Leffers, it's a fashion brand in Germany. It's also gaining more and more offers. The next thing is, what also some customers are doing is very interesting, using Pepper as, let me say, an advertising platform. Because you can use the screen and the awareness of the robot to promote specific brands. So especially this fashion house is promoting for a week Hilfiger, for a week Hugo Boss, for another week this brand and that brand. And of course they get, let me say, specific earnings for promoting them by a humanoid robot. This is a business model, pretty clever in my opinion. And even if you're going for a cruise ship tour on the AIDA, Costa Cruises, have someone seen Pepper there? No? Okay, because there are a lot of Peppers on AIDA or Costa Cruises, and there it's very good. Pepper is giving you the route, so where the cruise ship is stopping on the next day, and directly you can book the tours, what you can do on land for Pepper. And of course, it gives you orientation on the decks, ask replies to frequently asked questions like, what are the opening hours for the restaurants, where can I get towels, what is the Wi-Fi password, one of the most asked questions, of course. And all of that in 7 different languages. This is really great. So all the use cases that you can see are mostly about infotainment. We call it infotainment. It's a combination out of entertainment and information. And lead generation, so gathering leads, very important for businesses. Asking for feedback. What we could see is that humans giving more honest feedback to a machine than to a human itself. So surveys, feedback, ratings, stars, everything can be done by a robot. It's pretty easy to do. FAQ, frequently asked questions. That means that, sorry for that, frequently asked questions, all repetitive questions which are being raised up can be answered by a robot. Being as a welcomer, so it's a receptionist, we call it, that you check in on a robot. In some customers, they have it in their entrance area to say hello and to ask with whom you have an appointment. You say with Tim, and he's calling me on my desk or my mobile device and say, hey, your visitor has arrived in the entrance area. Pretty easy task, but pretty autonomous. Giving orientation and being as a digital ambassador. Even today in these times, a lot of companies use it as a digital ambassador to spread out their digital strategy and of course an innovative touch, especially for recruiting new talents. So as a recruiting tool, it's also pretty perfect. And those are customers who are relying on this system. And here even from Romania, UiPath or Banca Transilvania is also using the Pepper robot for informing the society about how to use online services. The thing is how to transport a message to the society when you do not have the attention or the attraction. Pepper is a garant for getting attraction. So what the robot is doing is when someone is there, it explains how to use online banking, how to do specific online tasks. Pepper is pretty much for this. And if you consider to go with a Pepper robot, there are a few steps how a Pepper robot should be, let me say, deployed on your site, or even how to handle it. The first thing is, of course, you need to consider yourself, what do you want to do with the robot? There are a lot of tasks. I named a lot examples. A lot of more are to be considered. And if you come to the decision you want to purchase a robot, the robot is going to be installed on your site. So this is done by a Pepper master trainer. This means the robot is coming to you, gets delivered, and you or your colleagues getting a training how to use and how to behave with the robot in the daily life. Of course, there are some rules to be respected, hardware-wise as well as software-wise, and this is part of the training, which is relevant, and we advise a group of responsibles to take care about the robot in their company, because one thing is really important. The reputation of one robot needs to be good, because not everyone can understand this, that the robot could harm the reputation in total. Because, you know, some different software parts can work on this, and there are some, let me say, partners or software creators, they have not that good performances. Some customers are connecting it to a printer or payment solution or IoT. It's also pretty cool that you can control the robot, your smart home, for instance, that the lights are going on. We have it in a museum, that you talk to the robot, and it's giving kind of a presentation, and the spots are going on specific objects. This is really, really innovative. And also managed services approaches are also very important, because some of the clients really like to have a robot, but they want to have it managed. Managed means we want it, but we don't want to work or don't want to have that much work with it. Could you handle it for us? And then managed service comes and come in. And at the end, there's also a lot of support. So the Pepper robot is available here in Romania now to the partner for this congress here. Of course, she is English, and she likes to be also be seen downstairs next to our booth. The thing is, we all, especially myself and our community, is let me say, challenging the question, how will the future look like? We saw some very impressive robots, humanoid robots, and Atlas, this was the jumping robot with the enormous balance. The funny fact is that there's a family, they have some others also, and this company is also acquired by a company which is called SoftBank. Who of you had heard about SoftBank? Yeah, SoftBank has this 100 billion vision fund. It's it is, let me say, one of the top companies in the world, and they acquired this corporation. This is also from SoftBank Robotics. So we consider to be probably it comes to that. Hopefully not. Here's another very impressive video about how this humanoid robot can, let me say, look like one day and what it can do. Not bad, huh? Not bad. Do it much better. This is really, really crazy, and what we are working on is like that. And this is really the last video, but I want to explain you what this is. And we really like this idea, and please come back to me if you have an idea for what to use it, because I don't have it yet, but we have the solution. I recommend it. So this is a VR glass, Oculus Rift, combined with a with motion sensor tracking, that you are transport yourself into a robot, control the robot, get your animations in the robot, you can hear and speak through the robot, and you can beat the robot. We call it the beat pepper. And we really like that idea because this is for us really nice. So thanks a lot, ladies and gentlemen, and hope you guys